Well, it's springtime, and the last part of the underground project is to repair the grade right here off my patio, starting with abandoning the septic tank. I'm standing on 1,000 pounds of a particular solution that you wouldn't want to fall into. But that's okay, I've got a septic pumper coming over here sometime this morning to pump it out, so I'm gonna jerk the lid off this thing so I can keep working when he pulls up to pump this thing out. You remember that Mike Rowe did a television series on dirty jobs, and I think he even did a bit of this work. But I can tell you that this family-owned business does a fine job. They show up, their price is fair. I think it was $400 to pump out this tank. This young man took care of business and comes highly recommended, including by me. The specifications on this little Kubota 40 series excavator say it has a breakout strength with the main arm of around 4,000 pounds and around 9,000 pounds in curling the bucket. And I needed most of that to tear the lid off of this old concrete septic tank. Even when concrete gets old, it still is strong. Well, it's Mother's Day weekend, and the clover is so happy, which makes the bees so happy, which makes Kelly so happy. But sadly, I've got to plow this stuff in. But that's okay, because being Mother's Day weekend, I'm also going to repair this, repair that, and put some pavers in. I don't know, if not by Mother's Day, certainly a few days after. Let's get to it. You can go to my website and buy one of these if you want. I don't carry these on the website, but looks like somebody should. Can't do that with your 24-ounce Est-Wing, can you? Well, it's day 2. Should have all happened in one day, but I'm old. So I got the 1/4 inch minus in here, compacted to grade. Compacting it, it went down, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. So I'm going to fine grade this with sand so that I can adjust it and set the pavers in there as need be. This is reclaimed sand, pretty rocky. I mean, this would never work for a mason, but it'll work fine for this. 50 bucks a yard. The worldwide sand shortage has come to Roseburg. But one thing's for sure, grandkids grow up. I have an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 12, and they go downhill from there. Well, I'm getting a 7, a 5, a 3, and a 1 here in a few minutes. We're going to find out if we can get a little work out of them. Rumor has it, they're excited. We'll see how long that lasts. The ability to work is arguably the most important thing we can teach our kids. And it's not that easy finding a job that little kids can do, right? But when Annabeth and Cyrus showed up out here, they were here to work. They were excited. And to be honest, they were better at this job than I was. They worked me to death. Clayton, their dad, my youngest son, was proud of them. All my kids are raising my grandkids so that they know how to work. And that is a blessing that I will always be thankful for. We've got a 10-minute macaroni and cheese break and then back to it. I knew my brother Brett was coming out for a visit. He's really good about coming out to make contact with Dad, as Dad lives out his last months or years here with us. Dad's always glad to see him, and so are Kelly and I. Brett's terrific, and it was just a pleasure working with him for a couple of hours out in the yard, healing up the damage that I did last year and sort of catching up on how life is treating each of us. Working together is a curious thing. You can get lost in the work and ignore who you're working with, or on the other end of the spectrum, you can stand around for hours talking and the work never gets done. But ideally, and Brett and I learned this when we were growing up together, because my dad taught it to us, there is a groove. There is a place that you can get to where the work is happening and the conversation is flowing, and you're reconnecting, or maybe connecting for the first time. But for Brett and I, it was reconnecting and remembering a lot of time spent together learning to work under the guidance of our dad and our mom in different settings that have stood us in good stead and are fun to talk about, even if all we're doing is placing bricks and shoveling dirt. Thank you for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.